I dropped my wife off at the airport, thinking it was just another routine business trip to San Francisco. Nothing unusual, no warning signs. But just as I was about to pull away, my 8-year-old son suddenly grabbed my hand, his fingers shaking. "Dad, please don't go home tonight," he whispered. "I know something about Mom. You have to believe me this time." I looked into his eyes and saw something that made my stomach drop. Real fear, raw and undeniable. I believed him, and that decision saved our lives. What I witnessed afterward still follows me to this day. Before I tell you what my son saw that made him beg me not to go home, let me ask you something. Where are you watching from, and what time is it there right now? I want to know who's awake, listening to the moment that changed everything. Thursday night, SeaTac Airport. Rain dotted my windshield as I pulled up to departures. Megan leaned over and gave me a quick kiss. "I already drove my Honda here yesterday for prep meetings," she said, adjusting her carry-on. "You've got the family car this weekend." "Sounds good," I replied. "See you Friday night." "Love you." "Love you too." She disappeared through the sliding doors, black blazer, blonde hair pulled tight, every inch the focused professional heading to San Francisco. I didn't see the lie hiding behind it. Behind me, Ethan sat quietly in his booster seat, twisting the straps of his dinosaur backpack. At 8 years old, my son was observant, the kind of kid who noticed details adults ignored. I pulled into traffic, telling myself it was just another Thursday night, just another business trip. Then Ethan grabbed my arm, not a tap, a grip. His small hand clamped down hard enough to make me flinch. "Dad, we can't go home tonight." I glanced at him in the rearview mirror. His face was pale, his eyes far too wide. My instinct was to brush it off, to reassure him, maybe even dismiss it, but his hand was shaking. "Please," he said, his voice cracking. "Please believe me this time." Those words hit harder than anything else, because he had warned me before. The strange car parked across the street 3 nights in a row. The phone call he overheard at 2 in the morning. Every time I'd told him he was imagining things. Sent him back to bed, and now he was terrified, sitting right behind me. I was nearing the I-5 exit. Home was 20 minutes north to Lake City, our house with the blue door and the maple tree, the place that was supposed to be safe. I'm an engineer. I calculate risk for a living. And in that moment, the math was simple. If I believed him and he was wrong, we'd lose a night. If I didn't believe him and he was right, we could lose everything. I changed lanes. "Okay," I said quietly. "I believe you." Ethan let out a shaky breath. "You do?" "Yeah, buddy, I do. I'm sorry I didn't before." Instead of heading home, I made a turn that changed our lives. We parked across the street, my truck tucked beneath the shadow of 2 tall oaks on our quiet Lake City block. I'd spent years designing that house. Every beam, every system. It was supposed to protect us. Hours passed. Ethan dozed off. Everything looked normal. By 10:45, doubt crept in. Then a dark shape rolled down the street with its lights off. A van, black or navy, impossible to tell. It stopped directly in front of our house. 2 men stepped out. Dark clothes, hoodies pulled up. No hesitation. Professionals. I reached for my phone, ready to call 911. Then one of them pulled a key from his pocket. My key. The deadbolt turned softly, and they walked inside like they belonged there. "Mom gave it to them," Ethan whispered. Flashlight beams swept the windows. Then I smelled it. Sharp, chemical. Accelerant, not gas. Smoke curled from multiple rooms at once. Flames erupted fast, deliberate, controlled. The men walked out calmly and vanished just as sirens echoed in the distance. Fire trucks arrived, but I knew it was too late. The house burned too hot, too fast. Years of work turned to ash. Ethan cried quietly beside me. "I told you," he whispered. "I told you, Dad." I pulled him close, pressing his face into my shoulder. "You saved us, son. You saved our lives." And it was true. If we had gone inside that house, if we'd been asleep, those men would have sealed us in. We might have had 2 minutes, maybe less. My 8-year-old had saved us from being burned alive. While firefighters battled the flames, I made another call. This one wasn't to the police. It was to someone my father had told me to trust if I ever needed real help. Emberlyn Turner, an attorney and an old friend from his union days. 5 years earlier, already weakened by cancer, my father had pressed her business card into my hand at his funeral. "Keep this," he'd said. "If you ever need someone who won't back down, call her." I could only hope she still remembered him. From where we were hidden, a block away, I watched my wife arrive at the scene she had planned so carefully. The Uber pulled up just after 11:30. Megan stepped out, saw the smoking ruins, and immediately went into performance mode. "Oh God, my family," she cried, running toward the house, heels clicking. A police officer stopped her before she got too close. She collapsed against him, sobbing. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. The fire chief approached her. "Ma'am, we haven't found any remains yet. The fire was extremely intense." Megan looked up, mascara streaked. "They have to be in there. He texted me goodnight at 9. They were sleeping." I saw it then, the micro-expression when he said no bodies. It wasn't grief. It was fear. She was terrified we hadn't been found. "Preliminary assessment suggests a gas system failure," the chief continued. "We'll investigate fully." "The gas system?" Megan's voice rose. "But my husband designed it. He's an engineer at Boeing." Fresh tears. She was planting the story, blaming my work. I pulled Ethan's smartwatch closer and typed quickly, "Hey babe." Ethan and I stopped for a late dinner, heading home soon. Her phone buzzed. She glanced down. Her face drained of color. She scanned the crowd, the shadows, her eyes wild. The act was gone. Pure panic. She knew we were alive. I shifted into drive and pulled away slowly. Lights off. "Dad?" Ethan whispered. "Why don't we tell the police?" I chose my words carefully. "Because right now it's our word against Mom's. She has an alibi. Cameras. We need proof first." He nodded slowly. "Like evidence on TV?" "Exactly." I drove to a cheap motel near SeaTac, paid cash, and signed in as John Smith. The room smelled like disinfectant and old smoke. Ethan fell asleep within minutes. I sat on the bathroom floor, my father's business card shaking in my hands. Emberlyn Turner, attorney at law. At 1 a.m. I dialed, expecting voicemail. She answered on the third ring. "This is Emberlyn Turner." "My father was John Harmon," I said. "He gave me your number." Her voice didn't waver. "John warned me this day might come. What happened?" I told her everything. The fire, the key, Ethan's warning, watching Megan perform. "Don't go to the police yet," she said. "They'll need evidence, not just testimony. Meet me tomorrow at 9, and I know exactly where to start. Your wife's car." At 2 in the morning, I drove back to SeaTac. Not as a husband, but as a man hunting proof of attempted murder. The parking garage was nearly empty. Level 3, Section B. I found the silver Honda CR-V and sat there for a moment, doubt creeping in. What if there's nothing? Then I heard Ethan's voice in my head. I stepped out. The spare key was still on my work keychain. I unlocked the door. Her perfume hit me first, then the chemical smell. The same accelerant. I searched carefully. Glove box, console, under the seats. My fingers brushed plastic beneath the passenger side. A burner phone, 15% battery. One saved contact, R. I opened the messages. 5 days ago. I can't keep living this lie. I want to be with you, Megan, then do it. Insurance money, fresh start. 4 days ago. What if something goes wrong? Relax. I found professionals. It'll look like a gas malfunction. His design. 3 days ago. I got the $50,000 cash. Good. Leave the key under the back doormat. Then the message that broke me. What about Ethan? Collateral damage, babe. You want a new life or not? You're right. No loose ends. The phone slipped from my hand. Collateral damage. She'd called our son collateral damage. I stumbled out of the car and vomited onto the concrete. I kept scrolling. Receipts, cash withdrawal, life insurance documents. Me for $3 million, Ethan for $500,000. Beneficiary, Megan Harmon. In the trunk, my blueprints. Gas system designs marked in red. Sabotage here. Blame design flaw. She had studied my work for months, turned my safety system into a weapon. I photographed everything, sent copies to a secure email, took the physical evidence, and sat in my truck, shaking. I designed that system to protect my family. She used it to try to kill us. I let myself cry for 5 minutes. Then I stopped. Engineer mode. I had the evidence. Now I needed a strategy. Dawn was breaking over Seattle as I drove back to the motel, the sky still gray and heavy. The texts and documents clearly showed a conspiracy, but Emberlyn was right. Proof alone wasn't enough. We needed Megan to confess. By the time Ethan woke up Friday morning, I had already met with Emberlyn Turner and helped shape a plan that would either expose my wife completely or destroy whatever pieces of my life were still standing. Her office was inside an old brick building downtown, files stacked in uneven towers, family law certificates lining the walls alongside photos of people she'd helped escape their worst days. I laid everything across her desk, the burner phone screenshots, the blueprints, Megan's handwritten notes. Emberlyn studied each page without speaking. When she reached the message that mentioned collateral damage, she let out a slow, uneasy breath. "This is devastating," she said quietly. "But here's the problem. A defense attorney will claim the phone was stolen, planted, or fabricated. They'll argue Megan never wrote any of this." My chest tightened. "So it's not enough?" Emberlyn shook her head. "It's strong, but we need her voice. We need her admitting it, thinking you're dead." Her expression hardened. "That's exactly why this will work. You're going to come back from the dead." About an hour later, Detective Tom Wilson arrived. Mid-50s, salt and pepper hair, calm eyes that looked like they'd seen too much but refused to look away. He went through the evidence carefully. 28 years on the force," he said. "I've seen plenty of ugly, but paying people to burn your own child?" He shook his head slowly. "That's pure evil." I asked if he would help us. His answer was immediate. "I don't care about gender. I care about the truth, and I've got a son too. What your wife planned. That crosses every line." Something loosened in my chest. For the first time since the fire, someone with authority believed me. "We need a confession," Wilson said. "These texts matter, but a good lawyer can poke holes in them. We wire you up. Public place. My team undercover. You get her talking." Emberlyn leaned forward. "Saturday morning, 10 a.m., a coffee shop on Capitol Hill. Busy, cameras everywhere." Wilson nodded. "I'll have officers posing as customers, the barista, a couple near the window. I'll be in a van monitoring audio." I hesitated. "She thinks I'm dead. Why would she even show up?" Emberlyn answered without hesitation. "Because we'll make her believe the bodies were found." She typed quickly and showed me the message. "Mrs. Harmon, this is Fire Investigator Armstrong. Remains were recovered at the scene. We need to discuss identification and insurance procedures. Can you meet tomorrow at 10 a.m.? My stomach twisted. "You think she'll come?" Emberlyn hit send. "She'll need confirmation you're really gone." 2 long minutes passed. Then Megan replied, "Yes." "Where?" "I need to know about my family." Another message followed. "Marold Coffee, Capitol Hill. 10 showers a.m. Wilson stood. She took the bait. That afternoon, he trained me on the wire, how to keep my chest angled, how to guide the conversation, talk about the fire, ask what happened, mention the key, bring up Ethan, then Ryan. People under pressure start explaining themselves. I practiced until my hands stopped shaking. Ethan watched from the motel bed. "Will you be okay, Dad?" "I promise," I said, hoping it was true. That night, with Ethan asleep beside me, I stared at the ceiling. The next day, I would face the woman I'd loved for 15 years, the same woman who had tried to kill our son. One chance, one conversation, one shot at justice. Saturday morning arrived with that crisp Seattle air that makes everything feel sharper. But when I walked into the coffee shop on Capitol Hill with a wire taped under my jacket, all I felt was the weight of what was coming. I arrived at 9:45. The cafe was packed, espresso machines humming, weekend regulars chatting. "Audio's good," Wilson said through my earpiece. Undercover officers were already in place. "Let her talk, ask open questions." I ordered coffee, sat at the window table he'd assigned. "Breathe," Wilson murmured. "You've got this." At 10:02, the door opened. Megan walked in wearing a black dress, hair pulled back, grief carefully arranged on her face. She scanned the cafe, looking for the fire investigator. Then her eyes landed on me. I saw it all happen at once. Recognition, confusion, then shock as the color drained from her face. She froze when someone bumped into her from behind. She didn't move. "Liam," she whispered. "Hi, Megan," I said quietly. "Didn't expect to see me, huh?" She moved toward the chair, like her legs barely worked, sat down slowly, and reached for my hands, shaking. I pulled mine back. Her voice cracked. The fire. They said they didn't find any bodies. They didn't, I said. Because we weren't inside. You weren't home that night. Where were you? Her eyes widened. Ethan warned me. Our 8-year-old saved our lives. She swallowed hard. Ethan. He heard you on the phone Thursday morning, planning something. She shook her head fast. I don't know what you're talking about. We saw them, I said. 2 men. They had a key to our house. I leaned closer. Our key. Maybe burglars, she muttered. Burglars don't pour accelerant into every room, I said. How do I know? Because I'm an engineer. I know what arson smells like. Silence fell between us. I could see her thoughts racing. I pulled folded pages from my jacket and slid them across the table. Screenshots, texts, photos from the burner phone. Every message, every word. Megan stared at them. Her face drained of color. Where did you get this? Your Honda, I said. Long-term parking, level 3. You broke into my car. I used the spare key, I said. The one you forgot I still had. I tapped the paper. This one, leave the key under the doormat. You let them in. And this, it'll look like his gas system failed. My design. My voice shook. And this, what about Ethan? Collateral damage. I looked straight at her. You called our son collateral damage. She didn't deny it. Didn't argue. She just stared at the papers. Then she looked up and something in her eyes changed. Cold, empty, calculating. The fear vanished. The pretending stopped. After a long moment, she laughed. Low, bitter, joyless. People nearby turned to look. The woman I married was gone. The person sitting across from me was a stranger wearing her face, and she was finally done lying. You were smarter than I gave you credit for, she said calmly. Why? My voice cracked. Just tell me why. She glanced around the cafe, then leaned in. Because I've been suffocating for 15 years, trapped in the perfect life you built. I married you because I was desperate and running out of time. Everyone else had kids. You were safe, stable, boring, but safe. She scoffed. I thought a baby would fix it. She laughed again. 10 years of IVF, 10 years of needles and failure, $100,000 for a child I never really wanted. My stomach turned. Ethan, she said flatly. He was an obligation, expensive, draining. I played the role, but inside I felt nothing. And you were never there. Always at Boeing, always designing something. You married your career. I just lived in the house you bought. When was the last time you really looked at me? She asked. I had no answer. Then I met Ryan, she said. 6 months ago at the gym. He saw me. Really saw me. Made me feel alive again. So you decided to kill us? My voice shook. Ryan has gambling debts, she said casually. Bad ones. We needed money, life insurance, the house, about $4.5 million. A clean start, Hawaii, new names. She shrugged. It was his idea first, but I wanted it too. Your gas system was perfect irony. I studied your blueprints for months, learned exactly where to sabotage it. Ryan found the professionals, $50,000 cash. I left the key under the back doormat Thursday night. And our son? I asked. She shrugged. Actually shrugged. What about him? He's 8 years old, I said. 8. He was in that house. Unfortunate, she replied. Collateral damage. Ryan typed that, but yes, it fit. I wasn't taking him with me. He was a reminder of you, a burden. A quick death in his sleep is kinder than years of therapy and resentment. She met my eyes. I was being merciful. I stood up, my chair scraping loudly. Merciful? You were going to burn our son alive. Sit down, she hissed. People are watching. I don't care. I leaned in. Say it. Say exactly what you did. Her face flushed. She stood too, her voice rising in the suddenly quiet cafe. Fine. I hired 2 men to burn the house with you and Ethan inside. I wanted the insurance money to start over with Ryan. I used your engineering to make it look like your mistake. And yes, our son was part of the plan. The cafe went silent. Megan froze, realizing what she'd said. Are you recording this? Yes, I said. I opened my jacket slightly, revealing the wire. "Every word," Detective Tom Wilson said as he stepped inside, badge raised. The barista pulled off her apron, another badge. The man with the laptop stood. The couple by the window rose together. All cops. "Megan Harmon," Wilson said, "you're under arrest." "You set me up!" She lunged toward the door, but an officer blocked her. Handcuffs clicked shut. "Attempted murder, conspiracy, arson, insurance fraud," Wilson said calmly. "We could have been happy," she screamed at me. "Ryan Lawson is already in custody," Wilson added. "He's cooperating." Her face collapsed. "No, he wouldn't." "He did," I said. "He told us everything." As they led her away, she looked back at me. I expected rage or fear. What I saw instead was relief. She didn't hate being caught. She hated pretending. "I hate you," she said quietly. "I know," I replied. "I just didn't see it before." The trial lasted 4 weeks. The evidence was airtight. Detective Wilson played the recording in a packed courtroom. Her voice, clear and undeniable. I hired them. I studied his blueprints. I wanted him and Ethan in that house. Lucas wasn't there that night. Emberlyn made sure of that. But I was, sitting in the courtroom, watching every reaction on the jurors' faces as the truth unfolded. Kinsley's defense threw everything they had at the wall. Claims of pressure, emotional instability, a confession made under stress, but none of it held. The prosecution laid out the evidence piece by piece. The burner phone recovered from her Honda. The messages spelling it out in black and white. What about the child? Acceptable loss. My engineering schematics with handwritten notes marking where to interfere, how to make it appear like a structural failure. Bank statements showing $50,000 withdrawn days before the fire. Chad took the stand, calm and rehearsed, testifying under a plea agreement, 20 years instead of life, admitting she planned everything, promised him millions, told him my system was flawless for staging an accident. The arsonists followed, describing how she gave them the key, the plans, precise instructions, and paid them in cash. When it was my turn, I told them about Lucas warning me, about hiding across the street, about watching 2 men unlock my front door with a key my wife had handed over, and set fire to the house with my son still inside. The jury took 6 hours. The verdict came back unanimous. Guilty on every count: attempted murder, conspiracy, arson, insurance fraud. 25 years. I didn't feel triumph or relief, just a hollow silence inside my chest. Outside the courthouse, Lucas squeezed my hand. He was 9 now, taller, quieter, carrying weight no child should. "Dad, is Mom ever coming back?" I shook my head. "Not for a long time." He thought for a moment, then whispered, "Good." That single word cracked something in me. 6 months later, we were building a life from what was left. The divorce was finalized. Full custody was granted to me, and the court terminated Kinsley's parental rights. Trying to murder your own child tends to close that door permanently. I sold the Lake City property. I couldn't rebuild there. Too many memories, too many ghosts. We bought a smaller, single-story house in Ballard, all electric, no gas lines. Lucas helped choose it. He needed that sense of control. The insurance settlement came through, just over $1 million. Blood money. I placed it into a trust for Lucas and donated a portion to a children's trauma center. Boeing offered extended leave, but I couldn't return. Every blueprint reminded me how my own work had been twisted into a weapon. Instead, I accepted a teaching position at the University of Washington, focusing on engineering safety, how systems fail, and how engineers must anticipate malicious intent. My students say I'm intense. They don't know why. Lucas started 4th grade. His teachers were informed, a simplified version. They keep an eye on him. The nightmares are less frequent now. There was a time he woke every night, coughing, smelling smoke that wasn't there. Therapy helps. Twice a week for him, once for me. Dr. Beatrice Wells specializes in childhood trauma. She says Lucas shows classic signs: hyper-alertness, trust issues, fear of being abandoned. "He saved your life," she told me once, but he lost his childhood the moment he realized his mother wanted him gone. My own sessions focus on survivors' guilt and broken trust. I haven't dated. I don't know how you learn to trust again after someone who vowed to protect your family tried to destroy it. Lucas asks questions sometimes. "Dad, why did Mom want us dead?" There are no perfect answers. Dr. Wells advises honesty, shaped for his age. Some people get lost inside themselves. They make unforgivable choices. None of this was your fault. He nods, but I see the question still living behind his eyes, the same one that lives behind mine. How do you accept that the person who gave you life calculated your death as a reasonable loss? We're healing, slowly, but we're not the same. The fire took our house. The betrayal took something deeper, our innocence. 3 years and 2 months after the night I chose to believe my son at SeaTac Airport, I sat on our Greenwood porch watching Lucas, now 11, laughing as he played basketball with his best friend, Connor. The sound of that laughter was everything. I sipped coffee from a chipped mug Lucas gave me for Christmas, "World's Best Dad" written in uneven letters. I keep it on my university desk. My students think it's sentimental. They don't know it's armor. Lucas jogged over, breathless. "Dad, can I get some water?" I handed him the bottle, and he dropped beside me. "Connor's dad is taking us to the Mariners game next Saturday. Can I go?" I smiled. "Of course. Text me when you get there, and when you leave." He rolled his eyes. "Dad, I'm 11, not 8. I pulled him into a quick side hug. "And I'm the father who almost lost you. Humor me." "Yeah, the nightmares come about once a month now. Therapy too. Monthly sessions. Lucas still checks the locks before bed. Probably always will. Not panic anymore, just routine. He has friends, plays basketball, dreams of being a civil engineer. Building bridges, Dad, he says. Things that connect people, not houses that collapse. I understand. Teaching at the University of Washington for 3 years now, I focus on engineering safety, fail-safes, anticipating failures, preventing disasters. My personal tragedy became my mission. I tried designing again once. Panic attacks, staring at blueprints. Every line reminded me of her notes, her sabotage. The loss still stings, but I've accepted it. I'm a teacher now, not a builder, and that's okay. Connor left, and Lucas returned, sliding onto the porch beside me. "Dad, can I ask something?" "Always. Do you think about Mom every day?" Surprise in his eyes. "Really?" I nodded. "Yeah, not like before, but yeah." "Do you hate her?" I paused. "No, I hate what she did, but hate takes energy I'd rather spend on living, on you." His voice softened. "I got a letter from her prison last week." My chest tightened. "Do you want to open it?" I asked. Part of me wants to understand why, part doesn't care anymore. Whatever you decide, I support you. But you don't owe her forgiveness, Lucas. You don't owe her anything. "Did you forgive her?" he asked. I took a long breath. "No, but I let her go. Forgiveness would mean what she did is okay. Letting go means I won't carry the weight of her choices anymore. That I can do. For me, not her." He nodded. "Exactly. You're smart, son." He ran inside, and I stayed on the porch. What haunts me isn't the fire, or the 2 men in black. Not the trial, or her confession. It's knowing that for 15 years I shared my life with someone who saw us as obstacles, problems to eliminate. I'll never know when it changed, or if it ever did, or if she never loved me at all. Did she feel real joy holding baby Lucas, or was it calculations even then? Every memory feels suspect. Our wedding, her IVF struggles, his first steps, happy moments, or just accounting. Those are the ghosts. 15 years of false memories. That's what haunts me. Probably always will. Lucas came back out wearing Connor's jersey. Dad, heading to Connor's. Back for dinner, 6 o'clock. His turn to set the table, I guess. Grabbed his bike, turned back. "Hey, Dad. Thanks for believing me that night at the airport." My throat tightened. "Always, son. I'll always believe you." He smiled. "I know. That's why we're okay now." He pedaled away, laughter fading down the street. She didn't win. She tried to erase us, turn our lives into insurance money, but we're still here. Wounded, yes. Changed, absolutely. But alive, healing, moving forward. My 8-year-old warned me about his mother. That moment still haunts me, probably always will. But haunted doesn't mean lost. We survived. We're rebuilding. Every day Lucas wakes up safe and loved is a day we win. Scars remain, but so does victory. If you're hearing this true story, understand this. I ignored warning signs for 15 years. The emotional distance, the cold calculations, the way Kinsley never truly bonded with Lucas. I told myself it was normal. That marriage was hard. Love evolves. Don't do what I did. Trust your instincts. If a partner feels detached, transactional, or views your child as a burden, don't rationalize it. Don't wait until someone hires arsonists. The lesson I teach my students applies here too. Systems fail when small cracks are ignored. Relationships are no different. That tiny doubt, that uneasy feeling, that moment when you wonder if you really know the person beside you, pay attention. Be alert. I'm grateful Lucas had the courage to warn me. That 8-year-old saved both our lives by trusting himself when I had stopped trusting my own judgment. This story isn't meant to scare, it's meant to wake you up. Check your locks. Listen to your children. Trust your instincts. Just because someone shares your bed doesn't mean they share your values. This is one of those grandpa stories I'll tell Lucas's children someday. Not to traumatize, but to teach vigilance. That's the true lesson of survival. Noticing the signs before the fire starts. If this story resonates, leave a comment, share your thoughts, subscribe to Grandpa Stories for more real-life lessons, and share this so it reaches someone who needs to hear it. Stay safe out there, friends.